G'day viewers, my name's Graham Stevenson and I'd like to invite you to come on a journey of creativity and learning and adventure through the series Colour in Your Life. There's an artist in every family throughout the world, and lots of times there's an artist deep down inside all of us as well. So grab your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your aunties, uncles and mums and dads and come and see how some of the best artists do what they do.
Well, g'day viewers and welcome back to Colour in Your Life. Well, we are in Sydney on Parramatta Road in Annandale. It's a pretty busy road, you can hear the traffic at the back. And we are at the Art Fusion Art Studios with Mr. Glenn Farquhar.
How are you, Graham?
Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you.
Glenn is a fascinating artist. He's an abstract artist that does some absolutely amazing stuff. But I think that what separates Glenn from a lot of other art teachers is that this man enables people to get rid of the word fear out of their life when it comes to art.
The most important thing that we do here is take the word fear out of art. Over the years, many years, I've developed a lot of different art styles and techniques, and I've put those into simple step-by-step formats. So the artworks that I create, you'll see on my website, most of those artworks are on step-by-step format. So people come into the studio and they can do lessons with me one-on-one, and that way you've got me there to keep you under control.
Sure.
But also on the DVDs and downloads, which sell all around the world, people are able to do the same lesson as you do in here with me.
Yeah.
I like to show the most simplistic way to create something really amazing.
Yeah.
And take that fear out of the art.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea of it, to show people that yes, you can create something really good and you don't have to have any experience.
Yeah.
People from all around the world don't come here to do their lessons with me, they're doing it online and they've got the same results, so you'll see those on the website.
And it's fantastic. And we're going to do two styles today. One Glenn calls Carnival, and the other one is a Galaxy series where he really puts the paint down and lets it sort of do its own thing. But it's fascinating, and these pictures are they just jump off the canvas. It's amazing to see what he does when they're finished. They're just beautiful. But I'm going to step out of the picture and I'm going to let you start the first one of the Carnival. You're really going to enjoy this stuff, guys. It's a lot of fun, so get ready for a good time.
Okay, away we go. Let's get started on this artwork. Now, I'm going to use a brush on this artwork, and it's the only time I'll be using a brush on the whole artwork. And that's just to do our background. And simply I've just got some artist acrylic paints which I've watered down a little bit so it'll spread easier. And we're going to just paint the whole canvas red. I quite often like to have brush strokes still in there because that is just a background to the rest of the artwork that we're going to do.
Also, as part of all of the setup that you've got, and you can actually see this on your website as well, but you also build all of your own stretchers and frames.
Yeah, I've got a step-by-step free video on the website teaching you how to create your own canvases. Yep.
Excellent. Now, it was your darling wife, Kim, that actually got you involved in artwork many years ago. Can you tell me what happened there?
One day, my wife came home and said she wants an artwork for our new apartment. So she went and bought a cheap canvas from a $2 shop and came back, and on our balcony, she started to create an artwork. And it was an abstract, and just using the paints we had from our home itself and some artist paints she bought, and created an abstract artwork. And I thought that looked like fun. So she went and bought another canvas and brought it home, and I helped her with the second one. And then I went and bought another canvas and another one, and here I am today.
You've got a fantastic gallery right on Parramatta Road, and you know, the presentation, particularly when people drive past at night time, I mean, there's just simply colours everywhere. I mean, you really can't miss Art Fusion when you're driving along the road.
No, that's the whole idea. Every time I create a new artwork, especially the large ones, at the moment I have one in the window, it's 3 metres long and 1.8 metres high, and it fills up the whole window. And I'm always doing different styles, so my window changes constantly, and yeah, that attracts customers. And there we are, we've got a coat of paint on there, it's red. You can see the brush strokes. I haven't been real fussy with it because I don't want it to be. This is an abstract artwork. We're not doing a fine art. So that's it. We'll let that dry.
Fantastic. All right, Glenn, now that surface has dried.
Yep.
Where do we go from here? What do we do?
Well, as I said earlier, that's the only brushes we're going to be using in the whole artwork. The rest is all going to be used with a bricklayer's trowel, which you buy from the hardware store.
It's a real bricklayer's trowel.
That's what a bricklayer's trowel looks like. But this one has a rounded head on it. And you can buy them in any hardware store. You can use whatever implement you'd like to create this artwork, but this is what I use. And basically, nearly the whole artwork will be created using this.
Okay.
So it's a big form of a palette knife. You know, that's my palette knife.
Just quietly.
So the first thing we're going to do, I'm just using, these are student grade artist acrylics. They're hard to buy in Australia, but anywhere around the world, you use any artist acrylics you like. We're looking something with a bit of substance to it, so it's more of a structured paint. But for these types of abstracts, I just use your student grade, especially if you're a learner. You don't want to be paying huge amounts of money for very expensive paints just to try and learn something. You can upgrade to the bigger paints later if you want to, but I encourage all my students to use the cheaper paints. It's not as hard on your pocket and you'll get a great result from them as well.
Fantastic. So you just like squeeze it out?
Yep, put some on the thing.
No mucking around.
I'm just going to use some yellow with the red.
Yeah.
Even though I've got the red on red,
yeah,
it's going to be a different red, but I'm suddenly going to change that anyhow. So and all I'm going to do is pull that across.
Wow, how's that?
With my special palette knife.
Very cool, very cool.
And to make it stand out a bit more, I'll just put a bit more of the yellow in, and I'll just press a little bit lighter so the yellow stays a lot more dominant. And all I'm going to do is just wipe the rest of that off. I'm not worried about getting it completely clean.
Yep.
And then we'll just go to another colour altogether. This time I'll just use a bit of white with it, which will help lighten the whole artwork up. And again.
Whoa. And the amazing part about a lot of the work that you've got with all of these series, and we'll talk about them as we go through the show, but all of these really have been invented and developed by you.
Over the years I've developed all these different art lessons and art styles, and I've created them by seeing examples of different artworks, all different things in everyday life, and I've come back and tried to put them on canvas. Something will happen and I'll say, that was an amazing effect. How can I replicate that? So I'll just develop it over a couple of years or however long it takes. Now I have taken all that and put them into a simple step-by-step format. And by doing that I've made it so people out there, artists who are looking for new styles and different designs, they can create their own by just following along step by step. So I make it as simple as possible and take the fear out of trying to create an artwork.
Fantastic. This is why it's so much fun when you do the corporate workshops as well. You know, you basically get people in to, you know, enjoy themselves and really have a go at it.
Yeah, the team building, we just do simple techniques, and the technique we do with the team building is one of our lessons. And it's a pretty much foolproof lesson, so we can have a group of people and I can control them all to create a really good artwork each. It's not a free-for-all where they just make a mess with paints. And they're all amazed at what they've created.
It's fantastic.
And I'm not worried about being neat. Abstract art, neatness, the harder you try, the harder it becomes to do, is the way I feel with abstract artwork. So don't try to be super neat with everything, because it just doesn't work with these styles of artworks.
So one of the things that was said to you when you actually started your career is that you couldn't run a gallery and a studio at the same time.
I've been told that by a lot of people. Fortunately, I didn't take any notice of it.
Guess what?
Otherwise, I wouldn't be here today with a successful gallery
Yeah.
and teaching what I do to the world, because otherwise I wouldn't have had the incentive to keep going.
Yeah.
If I was just relying on trying to put them through a gallery.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have this space that I have. I wouldn't have the interaction with the public that I have.
Yes.
And the interaction with the public is what really helps me. It gives me ideas. They come to me with ideas and say, Glenn, can you create me something like this? I might never have thought of that before. And I'll just always say yes, and then I'll work out how to do it. That's how a lot of my styles have developed, is because I've been given something to do, and then while I'm trying to create that artwork, I find a whole pile of different effects that happen, and different things that happen, and away we go.
Now, you do have your own formulated texture medium that you've actually put together yourself for the flower series that you do.
That's right, yeah. I developed my own texture medium, which is much cheaper than your main modelling paste. On my flowers DVD especially, I show you exactly how to make it up yourself.
And you also work a lot with interior designers as well.
Yeah.
Producing works for, various public places or somebody's home. Fantastic, particularly with your style, because it's so conducive to that.
Yeah, the interior designers, they're very good for ideas as well, actually, because they'll have a set idea for a particular space that they're trying to fill.
Yeah.
They'll have a colour scheme, or it might just be a style or a technique. Again, that suddenly gives me something new to create, and from that, another style will come. And once I find something that works out to be a really interesting style, then I perfect it into a step-by-step format, so I can then pass it on. And that's what my whole aim is with my lessons, is to pass it on to other people. I get so much joy and benefit from that because of the people who contact me back and thank me from all around the world. And you'll see that feedback on the website.
Yeah, well, you've got such a comprehensive website as well. People can come in there, they can obviously download the DVDs, buy the DVDs. You've even got art competitions in your website.
Yeah, we conduct the competitions. They're an international competition. We have two categories. We'll have the international division and the Australian division. On the website you'll see the competitions, all the entries that have come in on the different competitions, plus the winners and so forth, so you get ideas from that as well.
Now, your YouTube channel, how do they get in touch? It's Art Fusion, is that correct?
Yes, Art Fusion 1
Yep.
is the main channel.
Yeah.
You've got the links from the website as well, so just go to the website and it'll take you straight through. Okay, the next step we're going to do, I've just got some artist acrylics with some water just to make it more liquid, and that's what we're going to do with the next stage. You can use any colours you like. I'm using black. Black always gives a lift to an artwork, I think. It makes all the other colours pop. So all I'm going to do is just drop some onto the canvas. Anywhere where I've got a real messy area, I'll put some in there. And if you can see, the black, when it hits the different colours, it just pops. And just randomly, there's no right or wrong.
You know, if I was to say that anybody had influenced you when I first saw your work, I'd have to say Jackson Pollock sitting in the background there somewhere. He's got to be. Yeah,
look, a lot of people say some of my work's Jackson Pollock. Jackson Pollock invented splashing paint. And that's all we're doing basically, especially what I'm doing now. We're just letting paint drop onto the canvas. And that's just bringing the black into it again and lifting the artwork. I'm going to do the same with white. This is how quick and easy this artwork can be. Basically, what I'm showing you is just a simple technique to make a very vibrant, exciting artwork.
It's fantastic, mate. It really is. It's, as you said, it just jumps off the canvas. It's great.
And now we're going to do another few little things and the artwork will be finished. That's how quick it is.
That's wonderful.
Now I've just got some house paint. That's all this is, straight out of the tin. I've just put it in a smaller container to handle. All I'm going to do with this is just let that run across the canvas. So we've got a different shape altogether on the canvas, and just by adding those few on there, suddenly we've got another dimension to the artwork again, which is drawing the eye to the artwork. It's all those colours and all the different shapes is what gets people's attention. Just wipe most of that off my fingers. Now I'm going to go to some yellow. Again, just house paint. And I'm going to do the exact same thing again. This one's a little bit, make it more drops in different random areas, just so the shape's a little bit different to the blue. But again, it's just creating that interest in the artwork. I call this pretty much the ultimate abstract feel that really does give an amazing effect. And that's why I call the style Carnivale, because it's just like a carnival on the canvas. That's the first thing that came to me when I created one. What will I call this artwork? And that was the only name I could come up with.
So people can come along and do this with you, and you supply everything?
Yep, they can come and you can do it individually, one-on-one. You can come with a couple of friends and all do one yourself. I have a lot of husband and wives, couples come in. It's just something I've developed and like to pass on, save you going through all the hassle of trying to work out how to do it. I do it step by step for you.
That's fantastic.
There you go. That's a complete artwork created for you very quickly. When that's dry, we'll take a nice photo of it so you can see it properly with all full detail.
Fantastic.
So, I hope you enjoyed that, Graham.
That's wonderful. So, well, now let's move on to the Galaxy one, which I think is going to be just as fascinating as what we've just seen here.
Totally different, but just as much fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, Glenn, your Galaxy series, and these are pretty impressive looking pieces of work. They're fantastic, in fact. So how do we go about putting one of these together?
Well, they're all created just fluid paint on fluid paint. We're using different thicknesses of paint and consistencies of paint. We mix them together and one will react different with the other. Right, well, I'm going to mix up a few paints. The colour here is a Viridian green.
Okay.
I'm using blue. We're going to be using all in the blue-green tints and tones. Just put a bit of water in this one and give it a good mix. You want to make sure it's mixed up really well. We'll just pour some on. And then we'll add a little bit of white into that. A little bit of blue. And this is where the paints do all the work. I'm just going to tilt it backwards and forwards and let them mix in. Now this one I'm going to make it run across over here, so I'll be tilting over that way. And the faster I tilt it, if I tilt it fast, you'll get it running with little arms like this. You can do the whole canvas if you want to in one go, and then keep adding colours, but this one I'm going to create a bit of an interesting shape to the actual artwork. If I want to close this over here, it's not doing it by itself, so I just close that over with my fingers. And just by doing that while mixing the paints as well, and it'll make it run more solid. This looks very interesting now and very exciting, but don't get your hopes up that that's going to stay the same, because it won't. Every time we tilt the canvas, this is going to change. So as we're building it, the artwork keeps changing, and by the end of it, this will look different to what it starts off with now. So don't get upset and think that's got to stay the same. If you want that to stay the same, you've got to let it dry. Then you do another one over the top, so you can work that way as well. But we're going to do a complete artwork and just run it through.
Now you've done some quite large pieces. You know, these are still reasonable sized canvases, but a lot of the commission work you've done, I mean, you've done a couple of pieces 8.5 metres long.
Yeah.
For restaurants and board of directors' rooms.
I love doing the big canvases. One of the things with the abstract artwork, and everyone who comes to do a lesson, or people overseas and whoever doing the downloads, most people are afraid to go even to a canvas this big. To me, this is one of the smallest canvases I ever work on. To create this artwork on this canvas size is much easier than creating it on an artwork this big. So the smaller you go, the more finer detail you've got to have into it. So abstracts usually are simpler and easier to do the bigger you go. I'm going to put this little bit of sandy colour in now. And that was just by doing a bit of yellow ochre, very small bit of brown and some white. So we'll give it more of a beachy feel. And I've just run a little bit down along there as well.
It's not the sort of thing you want to be too precious about your floor with either.
No, I should have said something about that. You need to put something to protect your floor. I'm working in my studio, and my studio is just a mess. As Graham will say, there's gallons of paint on the floor in here. So please, protect your floor.
Yeah. Actually, from above, when you look at it, it actually looks like a picture out of the Great Barrier Reef with sandy rivers flowing down to a shoreline somewhere.
Yeah, you can get an amazing effect. As I say, you don't really know what they're going to look like when they're finished, but some of them you just stare into them and people see all sorts of things into them.
Yeah. Well, apart from doing these really huge pieces as well, Glenn, is that you do also in-house work as well with people, designing artwork for their home.
Yeah, I'll go in home to people all the time. I do this where I go to their home, and because when they come to the studio there's just artworks everywhere and it's almost impossible to work out what's going to look good in the right space and the right size. So I'll go to their home and we'll measure the right size so it frames properly on the wall or the space it's got to go on, and then we'll work the design out and colours and everything so it's exactly what they want in their home. We're going to just continue on in the same process. You can make whatever shape you want in your artwork. That's up to you, and sometimes the paint will take you in a direction you had no intention to go in. I want this one to look a little bit different, so we'll run it right out and get some interesting shapes happening on that side. So the patterns just keep on evolving, and that's why I love the Galaxy series, because every artwork just is really interesting to work with.
Now, the beauty about all of this is that you've got 22 individual art lessons that people can take on your website. They can download them or order the DVDs, but all of this information can be seen literally through your website. What is your website address, mate?
www.artfusionproductions.com.au.
artfusionproductions.com.au.
That's
so
right.
I would suggest you guys go in there because there's some fascinating techniques.
All step by step.
You wouldn't get bored in there, I know that much.
No. Well, what we find is that people might buy one to experiment, and then they come back and buy another and another and another because they have fun doing one and they can't wait to do the next one.
Yeah, I can see why.
So as you see, each time we move it, we're creating a different look to the artwork. And see, it's all moving and making its own patterns. But as I said, if you wanted this one to stay as it was, you would let that dry off. Then you can do another arm, and then another arm. Or you can go like we've done here and just keep on going and see where it ends up. So there you go, Graham, what do you think?
Incredible stuff, mate. Absolutely. And it's sort of like looking into another world, just one section of it. It's like looking into another world. It's a painting within a painting.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, when this is dry, we'll be able to photograph it properly, and when you zoom in on it, you'll see all different things in different areas.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part about these artworks. People come and look at them, and everyone sees something different in them.
Yeah.
So they're an interesting artwork as well, not just good, exciting to look at, and people come in and see all sorts of shapes, and it's great fun when people walk into the studio and say, oh, I can see a whale in that, you know.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but they see it straight away. So, yeah, it's good fun.
Great fun, it really is.
It's really experimental.
Okay, Glenn, fantastic day. Thank you, pal.
Thank you for coming. It's been great.
It was amazing, and you got two for the price of one today, which is pretty fantastic. But as you can see, so much fun and so interesting as well. It was an absolute pleasure to be with you today. Now, as we said before, you've got 22 lessons on your website.
That's right. Yep. 22.
Go in there, guys, because there's some fascinating stuff that Glenn does, and have a look at his website. He's got art competitions going on there. Huge community, very successful man at what he does. And I think Glenn really knows the art of selling art and being an artist, but doing it as a businessman as well. So if you want some questions, go and ask him as well.
More than happy to answer questions.
Absolutely.
I'm only an email away.
And your website?
artfusionproductions.com.au.
Fantastic studio and fantastic gallery here in Annandale on Parramatta Road, so come down and see the guys down here as well. We're going to head off. We've had a great time in Sydney again. Come to colouryourlife.com.au and obviously our Facebook page and YouTube as well. But until we see you guys again, remember, as always, make sure you put some colour in your life and
happy painting.
See you guys. Bye now. See ya.
Ooh.